Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Monster vs. Monster here on the D&D CR YouTube... No, got it wrong. The D&D CR Exposed YouTube channel, not the YouTube Exposed. I don't do that. That's for other channels to do. Oh, it's good to have you all back here for another Monster vs. Monster battle tonight. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. You're in for a treat, I hope. And if you are a seasoned veteran, as most of my commenters are and people in the channel, thank you so much for coming back. I know it's late for most of you, and I really appreciate you being here. So, what are we doing tonight? Well, we are pitting monsters versus monsters. And in this instance, we have ourselves some Shadar-kai versus the Drow. And why are we doing this? Well, in the comments of the Google form that was submitted for this one, it was a shadow crossing in the Underdark. So we have ourselves some Shadar-kai that have gotten themselves out of the Shadowfell and found themselves, unfortunately, in the Underdark here. Due to this intrusion, we'll say a small squad of Drow, you were dispatched to go check out the disturbance and see what was going on with this Shadowfell fissure, and they are investigating. Little do they know, or probably do know, that, they're about to encounter some elves themselves, and it'll be an elf versus elf, hate crime, or crimes going on, crimes against elves? Who knows? But in any effect, we have ourselves, I think it's a CR27 draft pick here, and, it is pretty much evenly matched of a CR9, a CR7, and a CR11. So we have ourselves as even as you can get here. So we'll see what happens if the Shadar-kai can pull off a win, or if the Drow will win. And as for the poll here of who, the vote of who's going to win, be it the goth elves, the gloomy elves, or the endless void, the choice is yours. Please submit the polls now, your choice now for the poll, and we will take a look at that at the end of the video. So, with introductions out of the way of what's going on with this video, let's take a look at who we have for our combatants tonight in this Underdark map here. Well, first off, we have Nero. Nero is a Gloom Weaver, and I think that was supposed to be an R. Yeah, it looks like it got cut off there. With a few abilities of multi-attacks, a Misty Escape, which, luckily we'll be able to do. Some spell casting with some spell books here, and since they have mage armor, thankfully at will, he has given mage armor to all of his companions. So we have some spells to use here. Unfortunately, nothing too great except for maybe Fear, Darkness, Confusion, and certainly Bane. Bane will be probably super helpful here. After that, we have Fenlar, and if some of you have, are seasoned veterans of the Monster vs. Monster battles, you'll remember Fenlar from a few episodes back of the casters versus melee video we did, and that one was some kind of a goblin fever pitch dream, but sure enough, here's Fenlar in the actual flesh. So will Fenlar survive another episode? Who knows? But Fenlar is a Shadar-kai shadow dancer. So yes, they'll be swinging those chains around as for fun. And then last we have Silbalar. Silbalar is a soulmonger, and I don't believe, well, yeah, they have a couple innate spellcasting abilities, but primarily we're looking at all of their soulmongering features that we'll be using there. And on the Drow side, we have ourselves Bartrin, the Drow house captain. And unfortunately, they have the very generic set of spells that may or may not help. Fairy Fire could be helpful. Darkness, I'm not really going to bother with Darkness. It's just kind of pointless because no one has magical see-through vision. Levitate and Dancing Lights. Levitate could be handy to knock out a melee if there's no way for them to get down or move about. So primarily, we're looking at all of the, multi-attack abilities for our Drow House Captain with Battle Command here, which will allow them to do some stuff with the Drow. And then we also have Diprak, a Drow Shadowblade, again, our standard fare of spellcasting, and then our features and abilities of multi-attack, Shadow Step, which is going to be helpful, as everyone here has some form of Shadow Step. And then finally we have Calver, and Calver is our Drow Mage. And we have an assortment of spells from 5th level Cloud Kill all the way down to some innate spell castings and cantrips here of, Poison Spray, Ray of Frost, and so on. And he has already had the mage armor applied as well. So we have 4 of 6 people rocking mage armor because, you know, our, like I said before, our Shadar-kai can just do it innately, and then our Drow on the side here. And with that out of the way, let's roll some initiative dice and get into combat. Oh, Hair Doctor, I'm so sorry to hear that. I don't know what the deal is with that, but every once in a while, you know, if you're waiting for a live stream to start, you gotta reset it for some weird reason. But anyways, not much. You haven't missed really anything. We're just about to start rolling initiative here. So let's do just that. And here come the initiative dice, and we have ourselves Silbalar first, with Calver next, Diprak third, Bartrin fourth, Fenlar fifth, and Nero sixth. Does the mage get Summon Demon? Let's see, what does the mage have for spellbooks? We got Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray, Ray of Frost, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, Witch Bolt. Not a great spell, honestly. Alter Self, Misty Step, Web, Fly, Lightning Bolt, Everard's Black Tentacles, Greater Invisibility, and Cloud Kill. Sadly, no Summon Demon. No Summon Demon. Even if there was a Summon Demon, I wasn't prepared for demons to be summoned, unfortunately. Alright, well, we have combat to get to, so let's take a look at this and get right into combat. Started off as the, you know, elves cuss at each other, throw some kind of insults back and forth, and we get into battle with Silbalar going first. If someone dies, they might get an ability to do so. Very true. That is possible. All right, so let's take a look at Silbalar, our Soulmonger, and see what they can do. Well, we have a multi-attack. For 2 Shadow Dagger attacks, we can either throw them or melee with them. We also have Weave of Weariness. The Shadar-kai emits weariness in a 60-foot cube. Each creature in that area must make a Constitution saving throw. In a failed save, they take so much psychic damage and suffer 1 level of exhaustion. On a successful save, it takes half as much and doesn't gain level exhaustion. Well, I think we know what we're going to do first with this Soulmonger, because that's a huge cube. Oh, buddy. Okay. That's fair. I think there might be a variant roll anyway, same as the other demons. Alright, so Silbalar is going to quickly dash across the water for, well, because of the distance here, we'll just say it's 15 feet to there and another 25 feet to there. And hops across that water for a little bit and gets right into view here and is going to throw out that 60-foot cube. Oh man, that's going to be terrible. Weave of Weariness. So let's go ahead here and we'll just, you know, we got to put it right next to Silbalar because since they're emitting that cube here. And yeah, let's see what happens here. All right, big old zone, a bunch of damage coming in for a total of 29 points of damage. And let's see here. So I need to roll some Constitution saves. For some reason, the rolls weren't rolled for me, which means there probably is some kind of a reaction, maybe, or bonus action. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so there's a bonus action, battle command, nothing there. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably... No, it wouldn't be shield from... Okay, nothing there. And one more. Let's see here. Because normally that should be rolled on its own. Bonus action, reaction, nothing there. What we got here? We got shield, which shouldn't really be doing anything. Misty Step, but that's a bonus action. Alright, I don't know what's stalling this out, so I'm going to go ahead and roll Constitution saves. Alright, so let's go ahead and get those con saves out of the way. And they need a... what is it? A DC 16. Okay. So, Constitution save 1 for Bartrin, and then another one for Diprak, and then lastly, ooh, got a natural 20 there, and Calver with a Constitution save as well. Okay, so, we've got our rolls here. Oh, you know what, maybe it didn't actually apply damage, I don't know. But anyways, let's see here. Components in the Veil of Flesh and Blood and Sentient Creature. Shadar-kai theme was weaponized depression. It really is. It's really funny. Virgo stole my emotions. Can't have shit and fail. No, not really. Alright, so we have a DC 16. Bartrin fails. And Calver fails. So they take 29 points of damage. Alright, so let's go ahead and get rid of the targeting. And apply the damage even though it wasn't applied. So 29 there. And, ooh, 29 there for our mage. Not doing so hot already. First shot. And Diprak takes half So that would be 14 for Diprak and no exhaustion. And considering it's only one level of exhaustion, we won't have to worry about that. Because it'll just be skill, ability checks and whatnot. If we get to level 2 exhaustion, then we'll worry about it. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of this nice little thing going on here. And end Silbalar's turn. Okay, going over here, ending turn. And next up is Calvir, who is already bloodied. Not looking so hot for the Drow, surprisingly. Okay, so I was looking at some stuff here, and it looks like Calvir can go ahead and we'll have him scoot over to here, to like this, and then I think that should be able to get everyone in a Thunderbolt, which would be kind of fun to use. So 4th level, no, what was it? 3rd level? 3rd level. There it is. 3rd level Lightning Bolt. Let's go ahead and cast this up here, and yeah, sure enough, Lightning Bolt. Oh no. All right, let's see what happens. We get the old zippy zaps there, and we've got 26 points of lightning damage coming in. And, yeah, no one's rolling dexterity saves. Why are they not rolling dex saves? That's kind of annoying. Let's see here. Let me go and manage this module real fast. Configure game settings. I need... What was it? Here it is. Hold on. MIDI QOL. There we go. Okay. Workflow settings. Quick settings. And full automation. As few button presses as possible. Okay. Save those changes, and that should be everything. So let's go ahead and make some dex saves for our Shadar-kai here, as they get zapped with a lightning bolt. Unlimited power! Yes, ELG, thank you so much. Very, very right on that one. Okay, so, dexterity save first, and do we have any kind of magic resistance? Oh, we do! Okay, so at advantage, we are rolling our dexterity saves here. Okay, so that's going to be a base 14, total of 21. Fenlar also should have... No, doesn't have magic resistance. Okay. And then Nero. Let's see, what have we got for Nero? No shadow magic resistance. Okay, cool. So we'll just go ahead and roll normally there for a dex save on Fenlar. That's going to be a base 3. That's a fail. Oof, that's a bad time to fail. And another dexterity save on Nero for almost a natural 20. Base 14, total of 22. And our DC to check is... Where is it hiding? Dexterity saving throw. Each creature in line makes dexterity saving throw, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what was the DC check? Oh, come on. All right, let's find your DC here. DC 14, intelligence save. Okay, so we got 2 saves and 1 fail. So Fenlar fails and takes a total 26 points of damage. So minus 26. And then Silbalar takes half of that, which would be 13. And another minus 13 for Nero. Alright. So they'll get shocked with some lightning bolt, and we will go ahead and remove that template. And then we will go ahead and move him another, we'll say, 5 feet over there to get out of the way. Alright, so that is the end of Calvir's turn. And moving on to Diprak. Let's see here. Fenlar's baldness and susceptibility to Sith lightning are channeling some major Mace Windu energy. Yes, I could definitely see that, ELG. Alright, and then let's see here. So, Diprak. Let's take a look at Diprak again. We have a multi-attack. We got Shadow Step, Devil Sight, don't really need that. Face Ancestry, Sunlight Sensitivity, Leather Armor, and we have our spellbook here. Alright, so considering how nasty everything is going here, Shadow Step. We are technically in the dark here already, so we can go ahead and not worry about the Shadow Steps. We can use that bonus action to kind of jump over there. So what is that, 60 feet for the Shadow Step? Might as well. What is the range attack here? Or, let's see here. So the multi-attack would be 3 Shadow Sword attacks, or at ranged. We can do a Shadow Sword ranged attack. 30, 60 foot. Okay, well, yeah, might as well stay at ranged if we can help it. Alright, so, alright, yeah, 30 feet. 5, 10, we'll go 30 feet to there, and we'll have him target Fenlar, since easily within 30 feet, no problem. Let's drop that back down, get the ranged attack, and we'll target Fenlar here, who seems to be the weaker and easier to attack. Alright, so Diprax going in for a ranged Shadow Sword attack. Right, whatever. Alright, so we have a base 4 to hit, and there goes that sword flying across, but let's see here, misses with a 13, and could have rolled 20 points of damage. Alright, we'll do, what was it, another, what's a multi-attack here? 3 Shadow Sword attacks, one of which can be replaced by a hand crossbow attack. Alright, so we are, attacking with range, so we'll go ahead and make another attack on Fenlar. Oh, and botches with a 1 on that attack. Alright, so that's no good. Let's see here. Will the hand crossbow be any better? Well, the poison condition would be kind of good, and it might also knock the target unconscious. So, you know what? Why not? Let's go ahead and attack with that hand crossbow as well. It's over to Prak. I have the high ground. Pretty much. Base 18, total of 27. It's going to get past that AC there, and we have a fail of DC 13 check, fails by 2. So that means our Fenlar is unconscious and poisoned. All right, so let's go ahead and get out these tokens here. Let's make sure we got that. Poisoned. And unconscious. Fenlar goes out before he even gets a chance. Ah, yes, the Drow poison. Yes, indeed. Fun thing about teleports, there's nothing stopping you from teleporting 10 feet above the enemy's head and then falling on them. Valid. That is, that is the Goomba Stomp. Oh, man. Okay, so Fenlar is unconscious, prone, and poisoned. Fantastic. So that's something. All right, so we moved, I think that was 30 feet, and we're going to go ahead and Shadow Step 60 feet as a bonus action. Let's see here. We use that action up just to mark it as it was used. So Shadow Step, and we will Shadow Step over here. Give him some cover, just in case. Alright, that is going to end Prak's turn. Up next is Bartrin, and Bartrin is our last Drow for the night. And let's see here. Well, for round 1 anyways. We have, again, the same stuff for our spellbook, but let's just take a look at the multi-attack here. Well, we have 2 scimitar attacks and 1 whip or hand crossbow attack, if need be. 2 scimitar attacks and 1 whip or hand crossbow. Alright, cool. And then we have a battle command. Let's take a look at this again. Choose 1 creature within 30 feet of the Drow that the Drow can see. If the chosen creature can see or hear the Drow, that creature can use its reaction to make 1 melee attack or to take the dodge or hide action. Neat. Yeah, neat. That's cool. I like that. So maybe we'll have our Calver here go in a dodge action, which would be pretty handy from the battle command. All right, I like that. Let's go ahead and do that. So Bartrin's going to move up 15 feet to there, and is going to, let's see here, first off, target Calver, use the bonus action to command him to take a dodge action. So he gets marked with that, and Calver is going to use the dodge action, so that's going to be helpful. Fenlar, Fricker stole my turn, can't Underdark or Shadowfell. Yep, unfortunately. Alright, and then for the main attack here, so we're going to go ahead and make 2 sword attacks and a whip attack. Let's switch our target to Silbalar, who's right here, and go ahead and make some attacks. Alright, so just to double check, multi-attack here is 2 scimitars and 1 whip. Perfect. Okay, so scimitar attack number 1. Let's see what we get. Base 5, total 13, misses. Could have done a whole bunch of damage. We have to ignore that because I had to fix some stuff. Scimitar attack number 2 is a failed attack with a botch of 1, total of 9. That's a +8 to hit. And then lastly, the whip attack. Let's see here. Melee reach, 10 feet. Okay, cool. Slashing. Cool. All right. Base 8, total of 16, just hits and deals 6 points of whipping damage to Silbalar. And that will be pretty much it for Bartrin's turn. So we're going to go ahead and end there. Up next would be Fenlar, but Fenlar is unconscious and really can't do anything, unfortunately. His turn's over. Just double check the, where was it? Yes, the hand crossbow here. So DC Constitution save, poisoned for 1 hour, failed by 5 or more, target's unconscious. In this way, the target regains consciousness if it takes damage or if another creature takes an action to shake it. Well, that's going to be interesting. So we have to skip over Fenlar's turn because Fenlar is unconscious. So we'll go ahead and end their turn. They can't do anything. Monster vs. Monster, Angst vs. Edge Edition. Yes, it really is. So up next we have Nero. So what can Nero do here? Nero's our Gloomweaver. And we have a whole bunch of spells. Whole bunch. Can we do anything with these spells? I would like to use Bane. Bane would be fun. But if we use the turn to wake Fenlar up, that could be kind of pointless too. We could do Confusion maybe. Darkness. Fear could be handy. I don't know. What do we got for the multi-attack and Misty Escape? So Shadar-kai takes damage, it turns invisible, and teleports. Okay. Try to remember that later on, and makes 3 Shadow Spear attacks. Replace one of these with a use of spellcasting. Oh, cool. Alright, well, I guess Fenlar's just going to stay asleep for a little while. As the other two try to do something about this. The next video YouTube recommendation is XP's to level 3's Drow Poison story. Quite ironic. That's really good timing. Yes, we could use one multi-attack to slap Fenlar awake and still fight. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, let's do that instead. So we'll use one attack to just slap Fenlar. So we'll do an attack, but do a little bit of damage. You know, I don't have the unarmed attack here ready, but we'll just do. Let's see here. He's unconscious. He's prone, so that's advantage, and that would just be a strength check at advantage because he's prone. So that's going to be 14 to hit, which, ironically enough, misses with an AC of 16. Well, that was one try. Doesn't work, unfortunately. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Rushes over there. Oh, it would be a crit, though. Yeah, it would be a crit, but if he slaps, it would be a crit on that, and it would just be 1 point plus the strength damage. But unfortunately, he didn't hit, so... yeah, about that. Alright, so Shadow Spear. What's the range on this? 5 feet, or we can throw it. Yeah, we'll throw a Shadow Spear. Why not? Can we? It's not set up to be thrown. What a pain. Although it should work. Let's see here. Let's switch attacks. We'll attack Bartrin. And then we'll see about maybe casting a spell, because that would be kind of fun. Will it allow me? No. Alright. Here's what I'm going to do. Because we're throwing it, I'm just going to quickly move him over briefly. Base 15, total of 23 to hit. Oh! Oh, that's a lot of damage! Oh, man. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Well, we've got some piercing damage, plus some necrotic damage. Hit or miss, the spear magically returns to the Shadar-kai's hand immediately after the range attack. So that's handy. Alright, and deals 38 points of necrotic damage. Bartrin has just been whopped. Oh man, that was heavy. Okay, now the next question is 30 feet, 10 feet, 25 feet. Perfect. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and target all of them and cast Bane on them as a spellcast for the third option on the attack here. So we're casting Bane, consuming the available usage, and they are all now baned, I guess? Apply active effects. Okay, so they're all now baned, and they all take a minus D4 on any attacks and so on that they do. Alright, that was fun. Alright, so that's Nero's turn. Nero's turn is over, and we end round 1 here with some damage. We have an almost dead Drow Mage, who's our CR7 for the Drow side. We have our CR7 Shadar-kai unconscious and poisoned at the moment, so really not adding anything to the message, or to the battle. And then our bigger Drow are almost in a face-off here as they go toe-to-toe here. So, top of round 2. Actually, before we get to round 2, let's roll ourselves a D100 and see what happens. And the results are in, and we have a 72. Nothing happens. Oh, do they have a charisma save? Oh, that is right. That is a charisma save. Okay. Thank you so much, ELG. I'm going to have to roll those real quick. And what is the save for Bane? That's right. The save is DC 16. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that real quick, because I totally forgot about that. And do ourselves a charisma save. Alright, do we have any kind of... No spell magic resistance. Okay, good to know. Charisma save number 1. So that's going to be a 17 plus 1. Alright, so he passes, so we'll go ahead and get rid of the Bane effect on him. And then Bartrin is going to also make a charisma save. That's going to be 15 plus 1 for 16, and I believe the DC was 16. It is, so that's another pass, so no Bane there. We'll get rid of Bane over here. And then Calver. Calver also rolls a charisma check with a plus 1 and gets a dirty 20 technically. So Bane unfortunately does not land on any of our Drow. Good to know. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. Alright, so don't have to worry about that. Are we concentrating on anything? Yes, we are. So we'll go ahead and get rid of concentration since we don't have to worry about that. And yeah, so no Bane. No Bane, unfortunately. That's too bad. Alright, so now back to the top of round 2, and we go with Silbalar's turn. Silbalar is right there facing off with the Drow. And what are we going to have Silbalar do here? Well, we have Finger of Death, which could be fun. Bestow Curse, Gaseous Form, or Seeming. Do we want to cause a Finger of Death already? Let's see here. Constitution save, or takes a whole bunch of necrotic damage. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see here. Let's go back to the features. We use the Wave of Weirdness, so let's go ahead and see if we can recharge that. Oh, and it is recharged. I guess we'll use that one again. And since it's a massive cube, yeah, this is bad. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and use that one more time. We'll use it on all of the Drow here. They get zapped for the Wave of Weariness and have to make another DC 16 Constitution save, or take 47 points of psychic damage and gain another level of exhaustion. So let's go ahead and check these results. All right, so let's go ahead here and roll with Diprak. Diprak has to make a con save, and that's going to be a, looks like 13, which is a fail. He's going to take another level of exhaustion. Bartrin is going to also roll, and that's going to be a con save there. That's another, why do we got +4? Oh, proficiency bonus, right? Yes. Okay. So that's a 17, and that's a pass. And Calver is, let's see here, Constitution check. 15 plus nothing, that's going to be a fail. So Calver and Diprak take full damage. So it looks like Calver is completely defeated. 47 points of damage, and is out of the fight. Racism wilts before the cold indifference of the universe. 47 damage there, and I believe that might be exhaustion level 2 for Diprak. And Bartrin passed, taking, what would that be, 23 points of damage. Okay. Well, Silbalar is probably just going to hang out there and completely talk indifferently to Bartrin and all them as he gloats about, or as they gloat about taking out Calver just with their gloom alone. So we'll go ahead and remove that template there and move on to, well, unfortunately, it was supposed to be Calver. Let's get rid of that real quick. Sorry. That was supposed to be Calver's turn, but Calver is now done. And we go next to Diprak, who is hiding behind here. So, do we have... I'm trying to remember who got hit for exhaustion number 2. I'm gonna go with that Diprak has level 2 exhaustion, I believe. If everyone can remind me what happened there for Diprak if he had exhaustion 1. He's got 1, definitely more than likely possibly 2. And you know what? Here's where I could have done this. So let's exhaustion rank 1. And we'll get rid of that one and put in exhaustion number 2. Oh, darn it. Okay, there we go. That should be right. Alright, so I think we got Bartran on Exhaustion 1, and we've got Deprak on Exhaustion 2. If we look here, we should be seeing the effects of Exhaustion 2 in play, which is... yeah, a whole bunch of flags here, disadvantages for stuff. So we'll start seeing disadvantage attacks and whatnot. Alright, so Deprak is up. What's Deprak going to do? We have Fairy Fire, Levitate, Darkness. We've got a whole bunch here, so let's go ahead and see if he can attack. We have the Shadow Step, we got the multi-attack. Yeah, let's see if we can put him to sleep. We'll put Nero to sleep since he's in the back here. So we'll go ahead and shift over, and we'll attack Nero and see if we get the same thing with Fenlar. Okay, so we're gonna attack. We're gonna chuck some spears or whatever it was, the Shadow Sword a couple times, and see what happens. Right, so that's a whole bunch going on there. Let me double check something real quick. Conditions for exhaustion table. Ah, speed is halved. Okay, so that's all that number 2 is. Cannot remember exactly the number. Yes, thank you. It is. I thought maybe it was disadvantaging attacks, but it's not. Okay, so that's all correct for the first attack from Deprak, with 21 to hit total and 29 points of damage as Nero takes their first bit of damage here. Up next is the second sword attack, and then we will go ahead and... Oh, excuse me, we have a natural 20 here for a total of 29 and 61 points of necrotic damage against Nero. Who am I targeting here? Critically hit. Did Nero take 61 points of damage? It doesn't look like it. Oh, he took 0. Oh, no! Wait. Oh, immune to necrotic damage. Okay. Oh, no. The Shadow, the Gloomweaver is immune to necrotic damage. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, no. Deprak is basically worthless. Oh, that's so funny. Alright, well, yeah, so that doesn't matter. Even with the critical hit there, we got ourselves some necrotic immunities, and we'll switch over to... That's so funny. We'll switch over to the hand crossbow here. Yeah, womp womp indeed. Oh no. Hand crossbow, let's see if you can do something about it. Okay, base 13, total of 22 to hit. That's going to be 5 points of piercing damage. And Nero succeeds the DC 13 Constitution save with an 18. So a little bit of damage. And yeah, completely just null and voided majority of Deprak's damage here. That is hilarious. All right, Deprak is kind of questioning what's going on here and might start to call Bartran back as he moves back here to hide again and get some potential partial cover. Yeah, exactly. Was that meant to tickle? I think it was. Anyways, ending Deprak's turn, we move on to Bartran, who is now a little concerned because these Shadar-kai are, yeah, kind of vicious in their attacks. What we got for spells? We have anything worthwhile? Again, we only have Levitate, Fairy Fire, Darkness. Could be good to get out of dodge, possibly. Dancing Light's not going to help. So we'll go ahead and make 2 Scimitar attacks and then see what happens. Deprak is just tired. Alright, Scimitar attack on Silbalar. As we switch our targeting over here and we go in for the first attack. That's going to be a base 8, total of 16. Hit Silbalar for... looks like 20 points of slashing and poisoning damage. Luckily, Bartran can actually do something here. Alright, up next is a second Scimitar attack, I believe it was. Base 12 to hit. And that's going to be 22 points of damage as Silbalar is almost next to Bloody. And then a whip attack. And we have ourselves base 11. And that's going to be 6 points of slashing damage. And Silbalar is barely hanging on to almost being bloodied here. Alright. And that is Bartran's turn. Bartran is actually going to command... Now, do we need sight? I couldn't remember if this needs to be sight or not. Choose a creature within 30 feet of the Drow that the Drow can see. Alright, technically he can't see Deprak because of line of sight issues. So he can't issue a command, unfortunately. Could he battle command himself? Because it says choose one creature within 30 feet of the Drow. Probably not. But yeah, we'll just end the turn there. Alright, so Bartrin is bloodied and not looking so hot. They are outnumbered. Hasn't quite hit round. Maybe we'll see what happens at round 3. This is only a few seconds in. Alright, ending the turn. And up next is Fenlar, who's doing nothing because Fenlar is still unconscious. And then up last is Nero. Alright, what are we doing with Nero? Well, we couldn't do the spell casting like I wanted to. We could do Confusion, Darkness, Fear. What's the range on Fear? 30-foot cone must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw. Could we get them in the cone? Maybe. Alright, well, let's see what happens here. First, we're going to do a couple spear attacks since we can do that. So we're going to go ahead and just shift in to show that we're throwing the spear, since I don't have it set up for 30. Yes, he is within 30 feet of himself. That is true. You know what? I'm going to go... Alright, let's just do this real quick. He's going to command himself to go on dodge. So yeah, we're gonna do that just for the fun of it real quick. So we'll go back to Bartrin here. He's going to use his bonus action to command himself. Exactly, Hair Doctor. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and put himself on dodge. He's now on dodge, which will be helpful. And then we move up to Nero again. Nero is going to attack Bartrin with 2 of his spear attacks and then try to do a fear. We'll see what happens. Okay, spear attack number 1 at disadvantage is going to be a 9 and totally misses Bartrin with the first attack. Spear attack number 2 is a base 10, total of 18, hits Bartrin for 32 points of necrotic and piercing damage. And do we have anything else to worry about? No, that is it. Just necrotic damage. Hit or miss, the spear magically returns. Perfect. Okay. So, Nero is actually up here throwing the spear at Bartrin and is now going to move... let me see if this works, because I want to try and do this in a way that will have the fear go and hit both of them. So we're going to go ahead and cast that spell for fear. No, we can only get the 1. Darn. If it was a little further back. That was the idea, but I don't think he can make it there. And it's kind of silly anyways to just rush into the water. Whoops, that was a misclick, but we'll go ahead and see who does what here. So, project a phantasmal image of a creature's worst fears. Each creature in the 30-foot cone succeeds on a wisdom save or drop whatever it's holding and become frightened for the duration. So the idea was that Nero is going to fear Diprak. So I'm going to have Diprak check for frightened. I misclicked and it got pushed over here. So Bartrin isn't technically the target of this effect. Diprak is. And we need to make a wisdom saving throw. Alright. And that is a natural 20 for a total of 26. So definitely does not get frightened by Nero. So we don't have to worry about anything else here. We will just continue on with the bottom of finishing off the end of round 2 and moving on to the top of round 3. So, as we transition to the top of round 3, let's go ahead and roll a D100 to see if something happens. And with that D100 roll, we end up with a 78. Nothing happens. Alright, so, with that out of the way, we are back to the top of round 3 with Silbalar up first. And Silbalar is just... we'll have a little fun here. We'll just shift Silbalar, move him up a little bit, see like, ooh, we got some combat moves and some fast footwork here. And we're going to go ahead and go for the multi-attack, since, may as well. Or we could do the whole Finger of Death thing, but let's just do the multi-attack. Oh no, first off, we got to check for Wave of Weariness. Oh no, recharge of 4+. Does not get the recharge. So, falling in line with a 4+ and being a 50-50 chance, I would expect to see Wave of Weariness 2 out of 3 rounds of combat. And we have. We have officially seen it 2 out of 3 rounds of combat. So, next we will go with the multi-attack. The Shadar-kai makes 2 Shadow Dagger attacks. And since we're right there, we'll go ahead and make it with the Stabby Stab. Alright, Stabby Stab number 1 is going to be a base 12, total of 19, and deals Bartrin Oof, yeah. 38 points of piercing and necrotic damage. As Silbalar's bouncing around, it's like, oh, what you got, Drow? What you got? And then goes in and bounces around again and goes in for a stab number 2. Base 8 to hit, misses with a 15, unfortunately, and could have dealt 32 points of damage and finished off Bartrin. Unfortunately, Bartrin is not finished off. So Silbalar is going to finish the move over here and end their turn. Up next would have been Calver, but Calver's dead. And lastly, we have Deprak here. Not lastly, but partway through. Yes, Finger of Death is a boop on the nose, if it did have a nose. Nero just roars at the enemy like he shops at Hot Topic, which it totally does. Oh, for real. Oh, definitely. All right, Diprak. What is Diprak going to do now that he knows his Shadow Sword is worthless? Well, it is round 3, and they technically are evenly matched still. No one, Bartrin is pretty much bloodied, so they are a little out of sorts there, but we do have this stuff kind of going on here. Well, it's pointless to try and levitate Nero because Nero can just throw a spear. Although we could levitate Silbalar, if need be, to try and get out of here because Bartrin, the house captain, is practically dead. And, yeah, why not? I think Diprak's gonna say we should get out of here and save our lives. So he's gonna go ahead, come over here, and target Silbalar with... Yeah, he's gonna poo himself and flee. Basically, that's basically what's gonna happen. Oh, could he throw the Shadow Sword? Yeah. But as we know, it's necrotic damage, and it's gonna do nothing to these Shadar-kai because they're immune. So he's gonna cast a spell, and maybe do something about it. All right, so let's go ahead and move our targeting to Silbalar here, and levitate Silbalar up away from Bartrin, so Bartrin can get out of there. All right, so let's see what happens here. So we're going to consume the usage. We are targeting Silbalar. One creature or loose object of your choice that you can see within range vertically rises 20 feet and remains suspended there for the duration. An unwilling creature succeeds on a Constitution save or is unaffected. All right, so Silbalar needs to make a con save versus DC 13. So let's see what happens here as we check for a con save. I think he meant throwaway. Probably. Ooh, and we fail. Base 9, total of 11, and the Constitution check fails. And Silbalar begins to levitate. And Silbalar's like, hey, what is this all about? And starts to rise up to the top of the cavern here. Do we have a levitate? No, we don't. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and mark him as 20 feet up in the air now. Yeah, technically darkness could be useful for running away. So that's probably what we're going to end up doing here because, y'all, these drow are dying. So that's 10 feet there and calls out to Bartrin, let us flee, brother, sister, whoever. And that'll be 10 feet to there and another 20 feet to there as he dashes back off the map the way they came to report on what has happened. So that is Diprak's turn. Up next we have Bartrin, who is coming off of that. Oh shoot, that's right, half movement. Let me back up real quick. We can only go that far because we have level 2 exhaustion. Bartrin is pretty much bloodied, and it's round 3, so Bartrin says, yeah, that would be a fantastic idea. Okay, so let's see here. We have a cast spell ability. We're going to go ahead and cast Darkness to cover their effects, and we're just going to say Darkness right here. So now they're in darkness. Bartrin's going to probably grab Diprak and try to pull him along. And if you pull a willing creature, you don't have to worry about it. So Bartrin, they don't cause half movement. It's only when you're fighting and you're dragging someone after they've been grappled. So Bartrin grabs onto Diprak and will attempt to move Diprak along, helping him move further. They're going to have a hard time running at half speed. True. Exactly why I was covering that. All right, so Silbalar is in the darkness now, just barely, as we end the turn there and go past Fenlar and Nero. Nero's up. Let's see here. Is Bartrin at 1 hit point? No, 2, but close enough. Barely alive. All right, so we have Nero here. Let's take a look at Nero's attributes. We have dark vision of 60 feet, but this is darkness and it's magical, so he won't be able to see into it, or they won't be able to see into it. no way to give himself any kind of true vision or to see through. Oh no, we could do true seeing. Oh god. Spunk is a willing creature you can touch, ability to see things that aren't actually there for the duration. The creature has true sight. Oh god. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Nero is going to start an attack action. And because of that, we're going to look at the multi-attack here. Shadar-kai makes 3 Shadow Spear attacks. It can replace one of those attacks with the use of spellcasting. So it starts the multi-attack feature. He's going to cast True Sight on himself. I don't think he has an AoE. The only thing he has close enough to an AoE is... Well, Fear was the only AoE he had. And we have Confusion as well. We could do Confusion. But this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. This is funny. Nero's going to target himself, give himself True Sight. Or True Seeing as part of his attack option. So now he can see through magical darkness. And then he's going to continue his movement. 10, 20, 30 feet up to Deprak. Can see Deprak, no problem. Ah, yes, ELG, that is very true. I like that. Can see Deprak is actually going to move back 5 feet, and he'll stay there, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to toss some spears. So this is where Nero's at the moment, but we're going to put Nero down here to target both of them. He's going to come in, chuck a spear at Bartrin, and then chuck a spear at Deprak, and see if he can finish off Bartrin first. Alright, so let's go ahead and move our targeting here. And then Shadow Spear number 1. Yeah, Bartrin's first. Okay, so regular attack, 18 to hit, total of 26, and Bartrin is defeated with 38 points of piercing and necrotic damage. That destroys the darkness that was cast, and then turns and just smiles as gleefully as they can for being, Shadowfell creatures. Yeah, he ain't escaping. And goes in for an attack on Deprak. Okay. So, Shadow Spear number 2. And the last attack, base 11, total of 19, hits Deprak for 32 points of piercing and necrotic damage. Deprak is bloodied at this point. So, we end round 3 and start round 4. Let's go ahead and take a look at that D100 to see if anything happens. And we roll a 93. Nothing happens with a 93. Glad I caught... Josh D, welcome aboard. Glad I got to catch some of the Elf Showdown. 2 of my favorite Elf subraces. And Hair Doctor. Deprak be like, oh, well, frick me. Yeah, indeed. And then ELG. We aren't on the Shadowfell anymore. Sadistic Glee is A-okay. Ah, very true. Okay, good to know. So yes, they are sadistically, just maniacally laughing as Silbalar moves up to confront Deprak. And I believe Silbalar has the Finger of Death. Why not? Let's give it a shot and see what happens. As Deprak is flanked, and we have a touch attack, right? You said negative energy, causing take... Oh, Constitution save. Okay. So... our Soulmonger reaches out to touch some Drow and goes ahead and casts the Finger of Death spell. So let's see what happens. Okay, that's a whole lot of D8s, and that's a big old laser beam of damage. So we have ourselves, what do we got here? DC 16, Constitution save from Deprak. Will Deprak make it? Probably not. Constitution save, DC 16. Ooh, natural 20! For a total of 27, and let's see here, on a save, half as much on a save. So that would be 52, that would be 26 points of damage. 26, and Deprak survives the Finger of Death boop. Yes, indeed a boop. And that is Silbalar's turn as he ends his turn right next to Deprak. And sure enough, Silbalar is begging mercy from these Shadar-kai, as he is barely left alive and wants to keep himself alive. Being any alignment, he is definitely going to drop to his knees, drop whatever weapons he has, throws whatever weapons, and begs for mercy from the Shadar-kai. This was basically a clean sweep as the Shadar-kai win tonight's game of Monster vs. Monster. So let's go ahead and end the poll. So the question is, who are the goth elves and who are the gloomy elves? For me, I figured the goth elves were the Drow and the gloomy elves were the Shadar-kai. So that's what I'm going with, and 50% of you voted for the goth elves, 28% of you voted for the gloomy elves, and 21% of you voted for the Endless Void. Unfortunately, the Endless Void did not make an appearance tonight, even with a 93 roll. Let's see here. Finger of Death isn't touch. Between that and Chill Touch, I think necromancers need to be banned from naming things. Yeah, I know it wasn't a touch, but just for the fun of being right there, you know, it could have been really neat to see it zapped from a distance there. But, you know, whichever. Hey, I won at least. I think I did. Yes, I'm not really sure who won. I mean, if you voted internally for the Shadar-kai, then you won for sure. And yeah, so Diprak begs for life. Fenlar lives to see another game of Monster vs. Monster in the future. And we have ourselves some more NPCs for future events. The Goth Elves are Shadar-kai. Daedalus Balefire. Hello, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for chiming in there. I appreciate it. Okay, so that is it for tonight's game of Monster vs. Monster here on the D&D CR Exposed YouTube channel. I thank you all so much for joining me. If you were in chat, Daedalus Balefire, Hair Doctor, Evil Lord Gravy, and Josh D. I believe that was everyone chatting. So thank you so much for hanging out, chatting it up, and, you know, just having a good old time in chat while we watch elves fight each other. If you watch this later on as a video and get it all the way to the end, you as well as everyone here that's watching the Monster vs. Monster, you're all amazing and awesome people. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this sort of thing, please share it with your friends, share it with your family, anyone that plays D&D and would, you know, have some fun watching something like that. Let them know about the channel. Have them come watch it. You know, there's a whole playlist on the channel there for to get caught up and start from the beginning, or start from wherever. We don't know. Should have gone Dritz. Should have. Anyways, so now for the business. The virtual tabletop that I'm using here is Foundry VTT. I love Foundry. I've replaced it with Roll20. I used to use Roll20, but then I switched over to this. $50 investment, and then you can mod the heck out of it. No services, no extra fees, one-time purchase, and you are good to go. The battle map was by Neutral Party. You can get them their maps from patreon.com/neutralparty, and the names were all by fantasynamegenerator.com. I have no affiliation to any of them. I just enjoy using them, and I think you should too. And then yes, a teaser for next week's game. We will have, it looks like, lizards versus dragons. So more scaly hate crime on each other. You know, first we had elf hate crimes. Now we got, you know, scaly on scaly hate crimes. I don't know. It's unfortunate. But that's just how a lawless and ruthless world of high fantasy can be in the games of D&D. Anyways, this is me, Andrew, asking the question, as always, are your encounters even rated? Thank you so much for joining me tonight, or today, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and have a great night, great day, great afternoon. I will see you hopefully tomorrow for my one D&D live stream campaign with my friends and family. Coming by and join me there to watch one D&D played live and updated on the fly as we get more and more playtest packets to really mess with the game. Lizard folk don't hate, just aggressive indifference. That is very true, ELG. Very true. So yes, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have the 1D&D livestream campaign of the Ever Side Questers as they have finished their journey through the island of the Bonnie Bard. We'll just go with that for now. They were on an island, volcanic island, and finished the quest there. So now they are making their way back to possibly Zabalamuga and seeing what Goodgerd the Tooth has to say. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So please join me there. Otherwise, join me next Monday for another episode of Monster vs. Monster. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time.